What's going on, guys? Mimic here with another video. This one is going to be a freaking banger. I'm going to be covering the big question that everyone has, which is better in Throne of Liberty. Are we going to do blues? Are we sticking to purples? What are we going to do? Which one's better? What should I use? I'm going to be covering all of that and more. I'm going to be talking about some end game strategies. We'll be talking a little bit about the traits and what their importance is on blues and purples. We'll talk a little bit about the opportunity cost versus grinding for those specific gears and traits if you're staying in blues. If there's even a difference between purples and blues, and then which purples to prioritize over others. We'll talk a little bit about my final suggestions and thoughts for new players that are joining Throne of Liberty come NA launch, what I would recommend for you guys that are going to be starting to play. And then at the very end, I'm going to give you guys my own personal roadmap on what I would do if I could restart and what I suggest you guys do if you're trying to make a final decision on what you should level and what gear pieces you should prioritize. It's going to be a loaded video. Without further ado, let's jump in. So what is better, blues or purples? Which one's better? It's hard to know, right? So I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. A +9 blue, which is the max level that you can take a blue item, +9, it's the highest it'll go. A +9 blue with a fully traded build, let's look at my necklace, is 100% better than a +6 purple with no traits. It doesn't matter if it's a weapon, doesn't matter if it's armor or an accessory. A +9 blue weapon, armor, or accessory with full max traits will always be better than a flat +6 purple, no matter what. Now, there are very small instances where this doesn't apply. Let me show you what I mean. My boots here, I've got them maxed out. They're +9. I've got max health, range evasion, range endurance. Great stats on the boots, right? But you can see here, I also have this helmet, the General Fury's headgear helmet. If you look at the +2 effect on the very bottom, it's in Korean, but it says there that if I have 2 of this set, I'm going to take advantage of 150 heavy attack chance, which is a 15% increase in doing heavy attack. So in this case, going from a +9 blue fully traded to a +6 boot General Fury's headgear that's not traded makes sense for me, because I'm going to take advantage of that huge boost of 15% more heavy attack chance. But if you're not getting some kind of set bonus by changing your gear from a +9 blue fully traded to a +6 non-traded purple, then it makes more sense to keep the blue +9 for now. That is my personal opinion. You guys can let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section there. Now, the opportunity cost versus grinding for specific gears and traits. What I mean by this is, before I got my purple sword here, I had a +9 elite broadsword with max, like all the stats were maxed on it. I was doing a lot of damage. I was liking my build. It was a great time. I decided to level that into a Magna Duke's Berserk Blade +6 purple, and it had a mortis damage on it, which is like the worst trait you can have on this blade. I noticed a significant decrease in my overall DPS by doing that, because I was giving up 60% heavy attack chance. I lost 60 points, which is, you know, it's really only 6% that I lost, but it's huge. That 6% is huge. I was doing way less damage. I was hitting for less. I was not doing as much DPS as I was with a fully traded +9 blue weapon. So that's why I say it's better to keep your +9s and do not go to purple unless the purple you're upgrading to either has a best in slot trait for you or you're getting some type of set bonus by doing it. Okay? Now, there are some rare instances where Neither of those happen, but it still makes sense to go to a +6 purple. For instance, my dagger. I had some really crappy daggers before I got this dagger. When I got the box to upgrade to this dagger, I took it right then and there, because look at my buffs that I get. I get that base damage 41% for 3 seconds upon using a mobility skill, which is a passive on this dagger. I get that, so I'm gonna do 41 more damage across my whole kit when I use a mobility skill with the Liquorius Thorny Edge equipped. So that's upping my damage passively. On top of that, it also gives me +7 wisdom and +6 perception, along with critical hit. So it made more sense for me at that point. Even though I had a fully kitted blue dagger, it was not as good as the base +6 because of the wisdom and the perception that I got from this new dagger and my Liquorius Gale Blade passive on the dagger. So when it comes down to leveling from blue to purple, you guys have to look at the total opportunity cost that you guys are either missing out on or not taking advantage of by either upgrading or not upgrading. You guys are going to have to beat a decision on that. When you guys get to end game, you're going to have to make that decision. Is it worth me upgrading right now this fully traded item for a base purple, or is it not? I can't make that decision for you. What I can tell you is, based on what I have seen, it doesn't make sense to level a weapon that is +9 with full traits into another weapon that has, you know, not the best in slot trait, and on top of that, it's going to take you longer to upgrade that purple than it is to that it's going to take you to upgrade the blue as far as the traits go, and it's going to cost a lot more resources and time. So with that being said, is there a difference? Is there a difference between blue and purple? Yes, there is a massive difference between blue and purple. A lot of these purple weapons come with these passives. You can see here on the Thorny Edge, it's got that Liquorius Gale Blade. On my Magnadutes, I'm going to get 80% heavy attack for 6 seconds upon inflicting a stun or shock with Stunning Blow. So my Stunning Blow is going to be proccing that. Okay, that's huge. That's another 8% that I have for 6 seconds of heavy attack. And take into consideration, this is at +6. It's a base +6. I still have to level this to +9. As I level this, that melee heavy attack is going to go up. I think it goes up to 100, which is 10% extra. Okay, so the difference between blue and purple is massive, depending on your build, depending on what items you're getting. Not all items have a set bonus. You can see here, this belt doesn't have a set bonus, but maybe there's a purple belt that does have a set bonus. So depending on the items that you're getting, it may make sense to go from blue to purple early, or it may not make sense to go from blue to purple early. You have to make that decision. Okay. Now, if I was choosing which purples I was going to prioritize over others, it's going to be your weapons first. Get your weapons first to purple if you're able to before you get any gear pieces. Now, obviously, you don't get to choose what the game gives you. It may give you accessories first that are purple. It may give you a belt or armor pieces, but you want to prioritize putting the traits on your weapons before you prioritize putting the traits on your armor pieces, because the stronger your weapon, the more DPS you're going to do, period. It's that simple. So prioritize your weapons, prioritize on getting the traits on the weapons. Use your Lucent, whatever you're doing with your Lucent, however you're making your Lucent in the game, use that Lucent to up the traits on your purple weapons. Now, obviously, before you even get the purple weapons, you're going to have blue armors and blue weapons. So those should already be leveled. You can see here on my gloves, max level on the traits. My necklace, max level. My cloak is max level, but I'm missing 300 max health on there. I need to get it. It's just very expensive on the elite assassin cloak to get the max health. I need to still take time to get some green max health and try to proc it on here, but you get the idea. You want to level your blue gear first before you consider the purple. So this game is very linear. You're going to level your greens, you're going to level your blues, then you're going to level your purples. Do not start leveling purples if your blues are not leveled. You're going to be gimping yourself And overall, you're not going to have a good time because you're not going to be maximizing. You're not going to be min-maxing. Level all your blue stuff first, max, then start slowly working on your purples. That's what I would prioritize. If I had to choose, work on your, in other words, I'm not going to try to get cooldown speed maxed on this. I'm not going to try to get the melee evasion max. I'm not going to try to get the ranged evasion max on this. What I'm going to try to do is get my heavy attack maxed on this first, and then I'm going to try to get some critical on this first. Same thing with here. I'm going to try to get my critical hit all the way up there and my hit all the way up before I start putting stuff into my gear pieces, because I'm a DPS. If I don't do good DPS, I'm not going to be efficient on the battlegrounds. So my whole goal is to kill other people. If I can't get my damage on target, then I might as well just alt F4, because that's my whole purpose, is to kill other people. So I am working on getting my weapons fully traded first before I go to my gear. Now, if you're a tank, it may be different. You may want to max out your gear first because you're heavily dependent on max health. You're heavily dependent on ranged evasion. You're heavily dependent on ranged endurance, things like that. So it's going to change based on your own playstyle and based on your own goals. I'm just giving you my opinion for DPS. If I was a DPS, what I would be trying to do. Okay. Now, my final suggestion is for new players. You're gonna be playing this game and you're gonna be overwhelmed with how much stuff you need to do in the game. That is normal. Do not get overwhelmed. All you got to do is focus on one thing at a time. If you know you need to get your weapons up, get your weapons up. If you know that you're trying to get your armor pieces leveled, get your armor pieces leveled, and just focus on that. Don't try to spread yourself out too thin and do everything at once. It's impossible. You will drive yourself insane. Work on one piece of gear, get it done, move on to the next, get it done, move on to the next, get it done. That's how I did it. Because if you're just, buying a trait here, you're buying a trait there, you're buying a trait there, you're going to be failing a lot more than you're actually getting those traits on. And it's going to take you longer than opposed to just maxing one item out and then moving on to the next one. I'm telling you, this is what I did. And it's how I was able to pretty much max out most of the stuff that I've got on my character right now. So pro tip, suggestion, work on one item, move on to the next. That's pro tip for new players. Okay. Don't get overwhelmed trying to get everything in your kit max level. Okay. Just work on one thing at a time. Now, if I'm giving you guys a roadmap, okay, on what you should do, if you're trying to make a decision on what you should level first when it comes to gear pieces, okay, purple versus blue, like I said, focus on your weapons if you're DPS. If you're tank, focus on your armor pieces. If you're a mage, same thing, focus on your damage. If you're ranged, same thing, focus on your damage. So pretty much everyone other than a tank should work on your weapons first. If you're a tank, work on your armors first, because you gain more for having better armors as a tank than you are for having the better weapon, because your main goal is not to do damage. Your main goal is to survive in combat and be annoying and dive the mid back line so that the enemy Zerg is churning on you, blowing all their damages on you. And while they're doing that, you're surviving because you have max traits across all your armor pieces, and the healers have less trouble healing you because you're taking less damage because you have your armor pieces with those maxed evasion traits, with those maxed endurance traits, things like that. Okay, outside that, it's pretty straightforward. Honestly, just work on getting your weapons as high as you can, as quick as you can, period. And what I recommend is do your contracts every day. I'm not going to really talk about that in this video, but just do your contracts, guys. You're going to get a lot of benefits from doing your contracts every day. You can see I've got 57 stacked up. I need to do my contracts. I've just been sleeping on it. But with these contracts, you can see that I have farmed quite a bit of weapon growth stones. Okay, now I've got so many weapon growth stones because I'm going to be tapping both my weapons to +9, and it is very, very, very expensive to do that. So that's why I have so many weapon growth stones, because I'm going to be doing another video where I break down the exact cost that it costs to upgrade both weapons to +9. So I'm going to be letting you guys know how much gold it costs and how many resources I burned to do that, so that you guys can kind of see, as a new player, what you have to expect when you start playing this game, how much time you're actually going to have to put in the game to get out the progression that you're trying to get out of. So I'm going to be making that video in the future. I still need to grind 20 million gold, so it may be a little bit of time before I make that. Could be a week, could be a month, I'm not sure. It just depends how much I want to farm that gold. Second thing is you are going to want to stack these pouches. I'm doing another video where I get 50 of these, and you can open up, you know, the pouches that will give you purple traits. You can get these purple traits, you can sell them on the market for Lucent, and then you can take that Lucent to level up your purple gears. Okay, so I'm making a separate video on that, but this video was mainly about which is better, blues or purples. I'm gonna say if the purple doesn't give you the best in-slot trait that you need right off the rip, and you don't have traits sitting around that you can tie into the purple right then and there as you unlock it, then blues is going to be the play. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if the purple that you get gives you a crazy passive because you have a set bonus, then it probably makes sense to give up your fully traded +9 to jump into a flat +6 purple, because it is going to give you that set bonus. So for instance, like right now, I'm going to wrap the video up, but I wanted to show you guys right now, I am trying to get these boots, the general charge boots. They're only 1400 Lucent, which is not a lot. But if I get that boot, it's going to give me that extra 15% of double damage, aka heavy attack chance. So for me, having that 15% heavy attack, overall, I would rather sacrifice that, what I have here. I would rather sacrifice the 450 max health. I would rather sacrifice the critical hit that I have on these boots. I would rather sacrifice the range evasion and the range endurance so that I can get my hands on 15% more chance to double attack. That to me as a DPS makes more sense. And you can see the boots here at just base level give me a movement speed of +2 and strength +4. When I get this to +6, I think that strength is going to be like +8, and that movement speed may be like +6. So I'm going to get a lot more movement speed, and I'm going to get a lot more strength, which is going to give me more health. So even though I lose the max health on the leather boots, I'm going to get it back because the strength on the boots is going to give me more max health by just having strength. That's what strength gives you, is max health. So I can always supplement having max health on those boots if those boots do come with max health that you can put on them. I don't know if they do. If they do, I have not seen them on the market. No one is selling them with max health. So either they can't come with max health, or the RNG for them is just very hard to get. I'm not sure yet because I have to take a look at the item. But that is the video. That's what I wanted to talk about. A lot of people always DM me, hey man, should I be using the blue? Should I upgrade the purple? It honestly just depends on what you're getting. I can't be the one to tell you yes you should or no you should not. You're gonna have to do your own research and look to see if it makes sense for you to upgrade to purple. For the longest time, I had my blue greatsword and it was doing a lot of work for me. I upgraded to this base purple 6, but it didn't have heavy attack chance. And honestly, my damage was so bad. So I didn't think it was worth it at the time. But now that I have heavy attack +60, now my damage is even more than what it was with the purple. And it's going to be even more once I max it out to +80. So that's the video. I hope it makes sense, guys. I hope it broke it down for you guys and helped all the new players that are looking to play the game, what you should do as far as your armors and your weapons. If you guys liked the video, smash the like button. If you guys have any comments, throw a comment in the comment section. And if you guys want to see more videos, all you got to do is hit that sub button. I release videos weekly, and I'll be covering a more plethora things with the game. We'll get into more end game strategies and other PvP related stuff. And as the game progresses and there's more stuff that's coming out, new items coming out, new places in the map that's coming out, if there's any changes in the game, I'll be covering all of that for you guys, so that by the time NA comes out, you guys have all the information that you need. You guys know exactly what you need to do when NA launches, and you guys are going to be a step ahead of everyone else who doesn't have the knowledge and hasn't watched this content. Thanks so much for the support. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.